A very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Welcome to Real Talk with me, Ayot Lillian, every Saturdays from 8 to 10 p.m. We are on your screen, and we run the repeat every Thursdays from 9 to 10. You can always catch all the episodes that you miss. And interestingly, today is the last Saturday of this month, and that is May. Hope it has been a very, very fruitful month for you and for your loved ones. If not, I pray you are enjoying it wherever you are. Thank you for catching us on this discussion today. You can be a part of this discussion by going on our YouTube channel, that is on Westnile TV, and our Facebook, that is at Westnile TV. You can leave a comment on our YouTube. You like, subscribe, and leave your comment. We shall have the comments read live here. And today we are on a very interesting topic, and that is menstrual hygiene management. How many of you talk about that freely in your communities and all that? And tomorrow, 28th May, is International Menstrual Day, that is celebrated internationally to raise awareness about menstruation. You know, the challenges that girls face during menstruation and all the misconceptions associated with it and all that. So this day is dedicated to address all that, you know, period education, so that people and girls have knowledge about menstruation. And today we're having this discussion in the studio with our guests from Success Planet Network Uganda. Like I said, before we go any further, let's have our guests introduce themselves. You're most welcome to Westnile TV. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, dear viewers. My name is Anderu Doris. I work for Success Planet Network Uganda as Menstrual Hygiene Management Resource Personnel. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ander. We are so glad to have you here. And since that is your area of expert, I believe the discussion is going to be very, very fruitful. You are most welcome to Westnile TV. Please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you, the host. My name is Monguchi Innocent. I work with Success Planet as a menstrual hygienist. Success Planet is a non-government organization and also a community-based organization that was established in 2016 with more emphasis on health, agriculture, and also development. So with Success Planet, we mostly deal with educating the community and the youth and so on. So it is located along Avenue Road, that is closer to the roundabout when you're just coming from Kampala, close to our stadium. So for more information, you'll get to know. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Success Planet Network Uganda, for honoring this invitation. Like I said, so many girls out there are discriminated, are stigmatized because they menstruate. So there's a lot of misconception, there are taboos. Some of these girls they're not allowed to do some simple things like cooking, attending churches. In some churches, you know, they're restricted. And sadly, most girls keep out like 4 to 5 days of school every day, every month, because they're menstruating. Sadly, because they do not have access to some of the menstrual products and do not know how to manage their menstruation and all that. And in some societies, you find it's a taboo to talk about menstruation openly. But then today, it's internationally, you know, there's an international day dedicated to the celebration of menstrual day, so that people are aware about menstruation, how to manage it. You know, people have information on all these things, and that's why we are here to talk in regard to that day. So let's start from the basics. What is menstruation?
Okay, thank you. Menstruation, in a very simple term, is actually the periodic monthly discharge of blood from the uterus into the vagina of a woman or a girl. That is actually a very simple definition for any layman person to understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. She has put it, plainly, the way it is. So let's hear it from a perspective of a man. People have the misconception that men do not actually know about menstruation. They have no idea what it is. But let's kill off that misconception. Innocent, what is menstruation?
Yes, thank you very much, the host. In simple terms, menstruation, we say, is a periodic flow of blood from the uterus through the vagina of a female. So we will all get to understand this is a normal thing whereby it has to do with everybody. So that means everyone has a responsibility to play, especially in the management of menstruation. So we will get to understand there are so many things, just like you've said, taboos. There are so many things affecting our young girls and so on who are out there. And also, it's a big problem, really, which has to be handled. So thank you.
Thank you. Before you just put down your microphone, do all women menstruate?
When we say do all women menstruate, we say no. Why we say no is that most of the times you may find there are associated problems, which might be not even a problem, but there are other factors that might come in. One of which might be an age, where somebody might be below the age of like 8. So it is usually hard for such a woman or a girl child to menstruate. Secondly, also looking at those who are above 48, usually you find it is they are in their menopause. So you find it very hard to menstruate. And also we say, that's why we say not every woman menstruate.
Okay. So before we go to the misconceptions people have about menstruation, I would like us to briefly talk about the signs of menstruation. The way it comes in different ways. So how do you know that you're going to menstruate, or you're about to menstruate, or you're about to receive your first period? What are the signs?
Yeah, thank you. The menstrual signs may vary from one person, from one woman or one girl to another. And one of the signs you may realize during that period is, one, you may feel lower abdominal pain. Then you can also, there is also tenderness of breast. Then a girl or a woman can also have back pain. And there are also mood changes. Sometimes the mood may change. Somebody can get angry anytime, unnecessary anger. They feel tired. Sometimes they feel they want to rest. So those are some of the few signs and symptoms that a girl or a woman can feel before she sees her menstrual period.
Okay. Innocent, what are some of these menstrual signs that you are familiar with?
Thank you so much, the host. We all understand these changes during menstruation can be brought as a result of hormones. And these hormones can vary, just like she said, can vary from one person to another. One of which basically we will look at is that moment where one may not be able to associate with another. So that anger that comes, which is usually brought by the effect of hormones. Secondly, we also have usually breast-associated symptoms where there's enlargement of the breast, and then also the breast, when touched, it can be able to be painful. So this is the few I can add on to whatever she has given. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Innocent, for those insights. Well, the theme for tomorrow's day is making menstruation a normal fact of life, by 2030. And that is an interesting theme because we all have a responsibility to seeing that the menstruation is a fact by 2030. 30. So that brings us to the misconceptions, the myth people have about menstruation. There are a lot. The first is that most people, I don't know, confuse the signs of menstruation and that of pregnancy. So you find girls find it so difficult to show that, you know, they're undergoing some signs because they are in their menstruation. For example, I don't know some of the signs, but you guys know. So clearly differentiate between the signs of menstruation and that of pregnancy, and also tell us whether some of the signs are actually similar.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. When it comes to the signs and symptoms during menstrual hygiene, they are not actually all that similar with the pregnancy. Pregnancy is quite different when you look at their signs and symptoms, because when one of the signs, for instance, one of the signs and symptoms for menstrual hygiene is the lower abdominal pain, which actually doesn't occur in pregnancy. And then and then also there's the back pain, then breast tenderness. Breast tenderness, this can also, you may find it like when you're also pregnant, and then also this you can find in both cases. So I would also refer my colleague Innocent to illustrate more about that.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so much. Just to add on to that, we know there are basically two things that control this. We will look at the aspect of the hormones, which do act in both. We do say in menstruation, this is a hormone-based, and also pregnancy, also hormone-based. However, you will somehow relate the signs. Someone who is having a menstruation also may be also that person who may be having the pregnancy. But in other words, these signs might vary. So in addition to that, just like she said, somebody who is who has got pregnant will not be able to see the signs that someone who is for menstruation may not be able to see. So that is the simple ones I can add.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope our viewers are attentive, because trust me, in our society we've seen girls who actually sit back when they're experiencing some of the signs in their menstruation, because people start pointing out, you're pregnant, you're this and that. We are saying these are just misconceptions that people have. And one of the biggest misconception is that when you miss your period, people say you are automatically pregnant. So we have experts in the room. Please help us clear the air. Does missing your menstrual period mean that you're pregnant?
No, that's a very big no. A girl or woman can always miss her periods. Just like there's a question you posed earlier on, that do all women menstruate? So we said no for some reason. So sometimes a woman might miss her periods, and it might be because of reasons like infections. Because of infections. There are some other complications. Then hormonal imbalance. Those are some of the reasons that can make someone to miss the period. So with this, I actually say no, a very big no, that a woman will never miss her periods. Okay, when a woman is pregnant, it doesn't mean that when a woman misses her periods, it doesn't mean that she's pregnant. So that is a big no.
Wow, that is very good of you.
There are other reasons that can make someone to miss her periods, not pregnancy. As I've said, infections and then other complications.
So Innocent, what do you have to say in regard to that?
Thank you so much. So when you miss your period as a girl or as a woman, it really doesn't mean that you're pregnant, which we associate to so many causes, one of which is strongly infections, which is actually currently the major leading cause of where people might miss out seeing their periods. So these infections usually they range from one to another. Most basically we may associate to the urinary tract infections, infections that are associated with the womb or is the uterus. So I strongly say it doesn't mean when you have not seen your period that you're pregnant. So there might be other causes that might really want you to seek medical advice. So that's what I can say.
Oh, thank you so much. Just like both of them have put it plainly, missing your period does not mean that you're pregnant. Or when your daughter misses her period, it doesn't mean that she is pregnant. So there is no cause for alarm. And when you miss your period, you should check out for factors like infections, stress, your diet, and all that. So look at the bigger picture and before you come to a conclusion. Those are not the only misconceptions or myth we have in our society in regards to menstruation. So are there any other that you know of? I know there are very many, so our viewers, you can also leave them in the comment section that is on our YouTube channel at Westnile TV, and also on our Facebook page that is at Westnile TV, and we'll read the comments right here. So let's briefly talk about a few of the misconceptions, and then we go into the products.
Yeah, thank you. I know there are so many misconceptions out there that are associated with the menstruation, and it varies from one culture to another. From my culture, the beliefs might be different from another culture. So I'll just highlight on the ones I have heard, the ones I've known, the ones that I have encountered in the community. One of them is actually what we had said earlier on, that when a woman misses her periods or a girl misses her periods, they say she's pregnant. And I want to say that that is a false belief. And then secondly, there are also out there societies that believe that when a woman is menstruating, this woman is supposed to be isolated. She's supposed to be kept somewhere not closer to home. And they also believe that when a woman is menstruating during that cycle, during that period, she's not supposed to be in the kitchen like to prepare meals for people to eat. They associate it with something dirty. It's something, people believe menstruation is something dirty. So a woman is not supposed to cook food when she's in her menstrual period. And then I've also known of cultures, I've heard of cultures that believe that when a woman is menstruating, she's kept in a constructed hut, and in that hut they heap a sand, and this woman, instead of using good menstrual hygiene materials for catching the blood, she is supposed to sit on the sand to absorb the menstrual flow. So these are some of the few myths and the misbeliefs that I have heard from the society as far as menstrual hygiene management is concerned. Maybe my colleague can also add on that, and then we shall also give an opportunity to hear more from our viewers. Thank you.
Okay, before he just adds on that, I hope our viewers are attentively listening to whatever we are saying. You can actually ask a question or leave a comment. That is by going on our YouTube channel at Westnile TV, and then our Facebook. You leave your question or your comment and we shall play them right here. So Innocent, my quick question is, she has talked about the cultural beliefs and taboos and all that. Do you believe that culture and religion affect menstruation hygiene management?
I strongly say no, because these are just beliefs, really, which should be then everyone's responsibility to take them off from people's minds. There are so many of them, just like one of the sisters has outlined. To add on, also, it's strongly believed in the communities that when a girl starts seeing her period, she is actually ready for marriage, but that should not be the issue. A young girl, as far as young she is, it doesn't mean that when someone sees her periods that she is ready for marriage. So this is really something we really need to change, and for sure they happen in the communities, and we really get to understand that they are not good. So these myths and beliefs, we should really not have much effect on them, to understand that menstruation is something normal, and also it's everybody's responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love your closing remark. You know, menstruation is normal and it's everybody's responsibility. As we celebrate International Menstrual Hygiene Day, we also raise awareness about some of the challenges that these girls face, we girls face during the management of, you know, menstruation and all that. So one of it is lack of access to menstrual products. But before we dive into that, let's briefly look at some of the menstrual products that we can use during our menstruation and how each product is used. Let's start with our sister, Doreen.
Yes.
What are some of these menstrual products that we can use to manage our menstruation, and how is each used?
Okay. Yeah, we have various menstrual hygiene management materials. These are materials that a girl or woman will use for catching the menstrual flow, the blood. And one of the materials is we can use the menstrual cloth. Menstrual cloth is actually, you can just cut any piece of cloth. This is actually what our ancestors have been using long ago. Before then, there were actually no modernized methods of catching menstrual flow, but still, we still have poor communities who are still using those methods. That's the menstrual cloth. This is actually, you can pick any clean, old or new pieces of cotton cloth, preferably cotton, because cotton is good for absorption of the blood flow. So you can cut this piece into any desired shape or size, and usually it's worn externally under the knicker. You either tie it on your waist, yeah, so then after that you are supposed to change it like from 3 to 4 hours. You need to change this cloth so that the flow doesn't come out on your clothes. So it's good after using this for 3 to 4 hours, it needs to be changed regularly. So that is the menstrual cloth. You can use any piece of cloth, clean, old or new, just cut it into any desired shape and you use it, you put it under your knicker. Then we also have another material, which is the reusable sanitary pads. These are made from also cotton materials, and it's worn externally under the knicker, and it has got snaps. Once you have worn it under the panty or your knickers, so their naps, the naps, you bring them under the knicker to fasten the pad, the reusable pad onto your panty so that it doesn't fall down. So that is the reusable sanitary pad, and it's very affordable, and it can be made of any local available materials. These materials are within our reach in the market, and the good thing about this method is it's very affordable. Even the poorest person can afford this. So that is reusable sanitary pads, and it's one of the activities actually we are conducting as Success Planet Network Uganda. We are actually training girls and boys, involving the men, the boys, the girls and the women in manufacturing. We equip them with the knowledge to make these sanitary pads. And then thirdly, another material that we use for catching the menstrual blood is the disposable sanitary pads. This is also worn, it's also worn externally under the knicker, but it's disposed of after some time. For the reusable, you wash, you dry, and you keep it, and you use it when another cycle comes. But these disposable pads, you use. After using, you dispose it off, you don't use it again. So that is the disposable sanitary pads, and it comes in different sizes. So, and anyone can afford it. So, fourthly, we also have some other modernized methods. One is the tampons. The tampons they are not yet commonly used in our country because they are more costly than what we have on the ground. How it is used? Tampons are made of absorbent material. This material is inserted into the vagina, and it absorbs the blood. It absorbs the flow, and it expands with moisture. So as it expands, it prevents the leakage of the blood onto your cloth. So that is it, tampons. And the challenge with it is it's a bit costly, and it's still rare in developing countries. Then another material is menstrual cup. We have the menstrual cup. Menstrual cup is non-absorbent material. It's in a bell shape, the shape of a bell, a ringy bell, and this material is inserted into the vagina, and it forms a seal onto the vagina wall, and then the blood flows into the cup. I said it's menstrual cup, so it's like a cup or in a shape of a bell, which is inserted into the vagina, and then the blood drops in it. Then it's empty. It's emptied. You remove after 6 to 7 hours. It's supposed to be removed, emptied, washed with warm water. You sterilize it very well. Then you can reuse it again after washing it and doing sterilization. So that is menstrual cup. I've briefly talked about like 5 materials. One, I talked about the menstrual cloth, the pieces of cloth, which our aunties used to use commonly. Then I've talked about the reusable sanitary pads. Then I've also talked about disposable sanitary pads, and then the tampons, and then finally the menstrual cup. Those are the few menstrual management materials that I've known.
Okay.
Yeah. So unless maybe some people, the viewers, maybe also they have some other materials that they know.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dorcas, for mentioning all those materials. Well, like she said, the viewers you can also mention, those because she has talked about modern and the traditional methods. If you have paid attention to this, so if you have other methods that haven't been mentioned here, you can leave them on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. So she talked about the reusable pads, the disposable pads, the menstrual cup. I believe some of us are still hearing about that for the very first time. The tampons, so it's you use one which is convenient. I love the way how she has brought about the aspects of the time, how long you can use these products, and the affordability. She talked about the prices, how comfortable they are, and so you basically choose which one to go with and which you can access. So if you're getting this information, please make sure to share it so that we keep our girls in school, because most girls are out there skipping days, 4 to 5 days in a month or even more, because of their menstruation, simply because they don't have access to some of these materials. So please do help our sisters out there. But for now we are going for break. We shall still continue with more of these menstrual products. This is the Real Talk. If you're just catching the show, we are on Star Times channel 477 and Zuku channel 0073. We do this every Saturdays from 8 to 10. Our repeat goes on Thursdays from 9 to 10 p.m. Do not miss. Also be a part of this discussion on our YouTube and Facebook channel. We'll come back briefly with our guests from Success Planet. Don't go away.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Mercula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
I'm telling you that all the spirits of DJ Jerome, my. Hear the spirit. Yes. Oh! Olé! You gave me sugar all the way. Oh yeah, I gotta spend it all. My name is Simon, living with DJ Jerome.
I am Fifi. Yeah.
Let's do it! Say! Let's do DJ Jerome. You're one of the best.
Tekina kitambana, nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana, nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana, nami ndo kitambana.
Mudonda bakunyumira wano tewanyuma. Tewazena kula pia katimbo. Tonebya kunyumira dekanzine. Aluwa kiruze kuwa zinira mu. Lekanzine, toja zina. Lekanzine, toja zina. Lekanzine, toja zina. Wangano zina ndawa tonywa bia.
I'm telling you that all the spirits of DJ Jerome, my. Hear the spirit. Yes. Oh! Olé! You gave me sugar all the way. Oh yeah, I gotta spend it all. My name is Simon, living with DJ Jerome.
I am Fifi. Yeah.
Let's do it! Say! Let's do DJ Jerome. You're one of the best. Tell them. And DJ Zero comes on the floor. Seal. Fail. Different price.
Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana.
Mudonda bakunyumirwa wano tewanyuma. Tuwaze na kulapia katimbu. Tonebya kunyumirwa dekanzine. Aluwa kiruze kuwa zinira mu. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Wangano zina anda watonywa bia. Amatuki. Atongoku. Amatuki. Atongoku. Amatuki. Atongoku. Ikatuku mini bia yoba.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
You are most welcome from that short break. This is Westnile TV, lighting up the region. And this is the Real Talk with me, Ayot Lillian, every Saturdays from 9 to 10 p.m. And our repeats run on Thursdays from 9 to 10 a.m. so you can always catch and not miss an episode. Today our focus is on menstrual hygiene. So we're discussing period. You know, in most societies people do not openly talk about these things, but we need these girls to get information. Not only the girls, also the boy child to get information regarding menstruation, because we want to kill all this misconception that is around girls and their menstruation. So we have our guests from Success Planet Network Uganda here in the studio with us. We have discussed what menstruation is. We've looked at the misconceptions. We have also gone deep looking into some of the products that we can use during menstruation. You know how you can manage your menstruation. You can be a part of this discussion by going on our social media, that is on Westnile TV Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe and leave a question or a comment. We shall read them live here. So we continue where we left Innocent. What are some of those products that we use during our menstruation that women can use to manage their menstruation?
Thank you so much, the host. Most of these products, before we went for the break, they were really brought out very clearly by one of my friends there. But I just want to really add a few things that we understand our situation as Africans. So let us always not really stop things that we're supposed to do because some of these things that we cannot get. In other words, I'm trying to say that most of the things that we might be able to use during menstruation are things which we really can have. So anything that really is a still, because we understand there are moments when even you start seeing your periods when you're not prepared. And when you find you've not bought a pad, you've not had anything that to do. But we would have to really understand that you can use anything available within your reach, of which we talked about issues like any clean cotton cloth is really something that you can be able to use. Our major focus here is to see that the blood itself is controlled, and it doesn't take anything really much to have, especially if we have things which we can really be able to use available, which are within the communities. Cotton clothes are really there. So this should really be everyone's responsibility, including boys, including men. I must really say, gone are the days where issues about menstruation were really hidden. So it should really be everyone's responsibility to help. So anything that is available, like clothes and so on, which can be able to absorb blood, much as it is a clean one, we really have to ensure that they are used. And just like we said, these things are readily available. You can be able to learn the skills when you come to the Success Planet. Success Planet offers this, can be able to teach you, and then also even your daughter or a son, whereby you will be able to make the pads from the locally available materials. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Innocent. Looking at the menstrual products that you can use during your menstruation, we have talked about a number. If you're just catching the show right now, we talked about reusable pads, disposable pads, tampons, and menstrual clothes. So it's actually up to you to use what you can easily access and that you can afford. Also, your comfort matters. And just a reminder, to tomorrow, 28th May, every 28th May every year, we celebrate International Menstrual Day, to create awareness about menstruation, period education, and also talk about the challenges that these young girls face. So you can actually take a part in celebrating these days by donating sanitary pads to young girls out there, providing information on period and teaching them how to work on these reusable pads that they can use, because by then you'd be helping the cause. And there are also a number of organizations that will be doing different activities, so it will be nice for you to check on those activities. Dorcas, at what age does one start seeing her menstruation? Is there a particular age?
Yeah, we don't have a, thank you, we actually don't have a specific day time for the onset of menstruation in girls and women. It varies. It starts as early as from 8 years. Then for some people it may even delay as late as 19 years, by the way.
Wow.
There are girls who even stay up to 18 years, 19 years when they have not yet seen their periods. And then there are those girls also who will receive their periods at a very early age, as early as at 8 months, because there was actually, there are cases, statistics shows that there are cases whereby you find 8-year-old girl gets pregnant, and you can never get pregnant when you have not seen your periods. That means when a girl gets pregnant at 8 years, 9 months, that means that girl has started seeing her periods. So therefore, the beginning of menstruation can start from, on average, from 8 years to 19 years. That is on average. So in the middle there, in between there, that's when the menstruation starts, but it varies from one person to another.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Doreen, for putting that out clearly. So there's no particular age bracket as to when one can start seeing her menstruation. People have it in the society that a girl of 8 years cannot start seeing her menstruation because she is too young. And she talked about your menstruation also delaying up to at around 19 years. And I know people would be saying, this one is not a woman, this one is this and that.
True.
So that brings us back to the misconceptions that people have about menstruation. Innocent, how long does a normal menstruation period last on average?
Thank you very much, the host. On average, we get to understand that a woman can have her menstruation flow up to 7 days.
Okay.
That means that on average we take like from 3 to 7 days. And they can be delays, and then also they can be whereby you find you may not really see up to the 7 days. So this really varies from each woman. You may not see the periods like other person would see. So for someone can be 3 days, for another person can be 4 days, others even exceed up to 7 days. So in a normal circumstance, when you exceed 7 days, we should really have to understand that there's a problem whereby you really have to consult maybe a health personnel so as to handle it. So thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Innocent, for putting that. So on average, a normal period lasts, some people even see periods for 2 days, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. But he's saying if your period lasts more than 7 days, then there's need for you to see a doctor, a gynecologist, or whatever. But please seek medical advice and all that. That is an interesting one. So before we go to the, menstrual hygiene, the best practices, let's look at some of the disorders that we can have girls can have during their menstruation. There are those disorders that come along the way, maybe due to poor menstrual hygiene management and all that.
Yeah, one of the biggest complications or disorders that women and girls normally face during their menstruation period is infections. There are quite many infections that a woman can acquire during this period, especially when menstrual hygiene is not taken into consideration. They can always experience these infections. And then also another complication can be heavy blood flow. There are people who really have heavy menstrual blood flow, but I want to say that it's very normal to have that. It's a normal process, and it should not actually worry anybody. When it's too much, then you can consult a medical doctor. Yeah. Then another complication could also be the back pain, abdominal back pain. It might be too much, and it's also normal. Yeah, those back pains, it's normal, it can be managed. Yeah, it can be easily managed. You can take medications, some painkiller, you can take a rest, and then there are also local remedies. One of them is to massage your lower abdominal with the bottle of hot water. You can. Okay. Yes.
So we shall come to how to manage all that. But right now we want to focus on these disorders. You've talked about, the heavy blood flow and all that. It varies from individual to individual. Like she says, we have those heavy blood flow, and also, sometimes there's that odor that comes because maybe you have used your period for too long and all that. We are still on that. Some of the disorders that we experience during our menstruation. Innocent, please add up on that.
Thank you so much. So basically when we talk about the disorders, we are here talking about the things that might really probe you to probably seek medical advice, because they are really things which seems not normal. One of which we had already said, when you have too much pain. We understand during menstruation you're supposed to experience pain, but there are moments when the pains really become too much. So this really has to make sure you yourself has to seek a medical advice or an attention. Secondly, in addition to that, we have also people who have irregular periods. In a normal circumstance, from one period to another, there are days. For other people, it may be 28 days. For others, they may exceed up to 30 days. Even others go up to 32 days. But there are moments when, which is not normal, there are moments when you find you have seen your periods, like maybe it has taken a week, and then also after another week, you see another one again. And after some days, you see another one again. So this is where we are talking about irregularities in the duration of the period. When you experience that, we really have to say that is not normal. You really have to consult any person that you can be able to get help. Another addition is also that we may have bleedings, the uterine bleedings, or someone may bleed from the womb. When even you find your time for seeing the period has not come. So these are usually, we term them as abnormal uterine bleedings. So you find you're bleeding, but when it's not actually yet time for your period. And also we say that you should be able to seek a medical attention. Lastly, I can also add that, we expect from one person to another, you may have the blood flow that may really seem too much in excess that we find even for other people, they see blood which can lead really to complications like anemia and so on. So now in such situations, when you find your bleeding is really too much and excess, we say that you must really be able to seek a medical attention, because these are things which seems not normal during the periods. But otherwise, we have those which are normal. Just like I said, pain and so on. These might be there, but when they exceed normal, they are really have to be taken seriously, and you have to seek medical attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Innocent and Doreen, for putting on that. So that means you should pay keen attention to your period. When you notice changes like heavy bleeding, when you have not been having that kind of bleeding, then irregularities, maybe you're receiving your period before the actual time, and also excessive pain and all that. So please do not fear to go to your nearest health facility or talk to someone about these changes, because it could mean that something has changed in your body and it could affect you a lot. So do see the doctor. Let's talk about excessive pain, too much pain during menstruation. There are people who get like too much pain. We see people who do painkillers, people who use water, but still the pain still remains. And we know of girls who always go on drip every month because of pain. So how can someone manage such kind of pain, from home?
Yes, thank you very much, the host. And really to say, this is a very much common cause of why people may not be able to concentrate, especially the young girls in schools and so on, where somebody really feels the pain is too much, and then which can really be unbearable. We are trying to look a way that, these are pains which really can be handled depending on whatever the painkiller you take. That is one. Secondly, just like I said, too much pain is not really normal. So it would also be really good to go to hospital and then also establish yourself. Find out why this pain could be there. But too much pain can be able to be handled, especially when we introduce such a person to pain relievers or painkillers, whereby when such a person takes, the pain can be able to reduce. So our dear young girls and women, pain should not really stop you from doing your daily activities. Here, basically, we're talking about the school girls. We understand you may have too much pain, whereby you may not even be able to concentrate in class and so on. But besides that, if the pain is not too much, you can look at other ways, other normal ways, and other available ways how you can be able to reduce the pain. One of which we talk about just putting or placing a hot water, which should not really be too hot, or to the abdomen. This is really going to help in the relaxation of the muscles or help in the reduction of the cramps. And then also you have to really make sure you take some rest, and then also settle up your mind. So these are really the things that you can really do to reduce the too much pain. So all in all, what I'm trying to say is that when you have these pains, please, they should not really stop you from doing your daily activities. So seek medical attention and get something to take which will be able to reduce this pain.
Thank you so much, Innocent, for that input. Now, before we go into the best practices during menstruation, Doc, as a quick question, why, what are some of the causes of these disorders during menstruation? Let's look at a few causes.
Yeah, we had talked about disorders like heavy menstrual flow, and then pain. These are just actually I could say one of the causes of the heavy bleeding or pain might be infections, and then sometimes it might be the hormonal changes, and this varies from one person to another. We experience it differently. There are people who don't even experience some of these complications. So to me, I see it's like the hormonal changes, it varies from one person to another one, and these complications can also we can actually overcome them. It's not something that can scare, and it's something which is actually normal. It comes with the period, with the cycle. As soon as you're done with your period, those pains will also go away. So it's something that comes with a period, because as the uterus lining, the blood, it's tearing. It tears with a lot of pain. So it's normal to have that pain. It's just like giving birth. When you're giving birth, as the uterus is also contracting, it comes with pain, and you cannot run away from that pain. Yeah. Then sometimes it might be infection. So if so, then there's need to seek for medical advice or attention.
Thank you so much, Doreen, for that. She says some of these causes are actually natural, hormonal balance and all that. But how long do you use your sanitary pads, be it your reusable or disposable pad? For how long do you use it? Because you talked about these menstrual products and how long you can use each. They say your sanitary pads, the disposable ones, you shouldn't use them for more than 8 hours. So some of these disorders come as a result of you not using your sanitary pads or the menstrual products properly. But we shall look at the best menstrual hygiene management, ways that things that you can ways that you can apply after this short break. And just a reminder that tomorrow is International Menstrual Hygiene Day, and we are raising awareness about the challenges regarding access to these menstrual products and all that. You can also be a part of this discussion by leaving a comment on our YouTube and Facebook channel. Continue watching us on Star Times channel 477, Zuku channel 007 to be a part of this discussion. See you shortly after this short break.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Mercula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
I'm telling you that all the spirit of DJ Jerome, my. Hear the spirit. Yes. Oh! Olé! You gave me strength all the way. Oh yeah, I gotta spend it all.
My name is Simon, living with DJ Jerome.
I am Fifi. Yeah.
Let's do it! Say! Thank you, DJ Jerome. You're one of the best. And DJ Zero comes on the floor. Seal. Different vibes.
Tekina kitambana, nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana, nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana, nami ndo kitambana.
Mudonda bakunyumirwa wano tewanyuma. Kaze na kula pia katimbuwe. Tonebya kunyumirwa dekanzine. Aluwa kiruze kuba zinira mu. Lekanzine, toja zina. Lekanzine, toja zina. Lekanzine, toja zina. Wangano zina ndawa tonywa pia. Amatuki, atongoku. Amatuki, atongoku. Amatuki, atongoku. Ikatuku mini pia yoba.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Welcome back from that break. This is Westnile TV, lighting up the region. My name is Ayot Lillian and this is The Real Talk. We do this every Saturdays from 8 to 10 p.m. and our repeat goes on Thursdays from 9 to 10 a.m. Do not miss our discussions. You can catch us on Star Times, channel 477, and on Zuku, channel 007, and on our socials at Westnile TV, on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Leave a comment or a question. We shall have time to read your comments here. Today we are discussing the management of menstrual hygiene ahead of the celebration of International Menstrual Hygiene Day that is on celebrated every 28th of May to create awareness about menstrual hygiene and access, the challenges girls face in accessing these menstrual products, and also the myths that surround menstruation in our society. We have our guests from Success Planet Network Uganda who are here. We have discussed a lot about menstruation and the menstruation products, the misconceptions, the disorders and all that. So we want to go straight into looking at the best menstrual hygiene management practices that every woman or every girl should put into practice. So we are going to start with our guest, and that is Doreen.
Yes. Now, before I go to the best practices about menstrual hygiene management, for us to maintain menstrual hygiene during menstruation, every girl and woman needs actual access to safe water and sanitation in order to maintain good practices during menstrual hygiene. They also need somewhere private where they can be comfortable to change their menstrual materials, bathe, shower. They need some privacy. This will give them that comfort in order to maintain the menstrual hygiene hygiene during that period. Now, one of the best practices is hand washing, and you cannot practice hand washing when there's no water and soap. So there is really need for a girl or a woman to do hand washing after like cleaning yourself, or you've gone to the washroom, you're changing your pads. So after that, there's need for you to wash your hands with water, soap, or ice. Ice is also very effective we have also seen in the communities that there are poor populations, communities that can't afford even mere soap for hand washing. So we normally recommend them to use ash when there's no soap. So there's need for them to do hand washing after changing their pads and whatever. And then another practice, good practice during menstruation, is bathing regularly. There's need for them to bathe regularly, because if you don't bathe regularly, you will have irritations, skin irritations, bad smell, and then itching. So those are some of the associated side effects when you don't bathe regularly. You smell, you feel uncomfortable. Sometimes this blood flow can also come out of your clothes, and then you begin to feel shy, ashamed. So it's good to change to bathe regularly. And then another practice, good practice, is proper disposal of used materials. We have seen situations where, like in schools, even in homes, girls just remove after changing their pads, they just throw them in the washroom in the open. There are people who throw them even in the rivers, into people's farms, behind the backyards, which is really a very bad practice, and this can actually spread infections, because this blood, we don't know what is in that blood. So it's really good to dispose of these used materials in a proper way. And when you're actually disposing this material, you are supposed to remove, wrap it, double bag it, tie them up, and then throw them into the dustbin. In rural areas, you can double bag them, tie properly, throw it into the pit latrine, or else you can bury them, or you put them into the regular refuse management system. So another good practice is also to wash these materials. We talked about the reusable sanitary pads. These materials are supposed to be washed, dried, and kept very well before the next cycle comes, because if you don't wash them, keep them well, you can also get infections. Yeah, so those are some of the good practices. And then changing the pads. Sometimes, you know, in workplace, in schools, we may not have like the access to shower rooms. So it's very important, if you don't have access, carry some pads with you so that you can change. We talked about changing the pads regularly, from every 6 hours to like 7 hours. These materials should be changed. So if you can't actually shower, but you can change your materials. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Doreen, for putting in that. She just talked about some of the best practices for menstrual hygiene management. She talked about getting access to clean water, privacy, and also you should mind, you know, how you dispose of your pad. Use the pads, because it's very important how you dispose them. You can burn them, you can bury them, you can drop them in a pit latrine or anything of that sort. And you should regularly change your pads between 6 to 8 hours, depending on what kind of menstrual product you have used. You should regularly wash your hand when you're in your period. Keep clean, use cotton panties and all that. You can get more information on you know, sites and wherever you can get them. So those are good practices that you should always use to manage your menstruation. Before we conclude, I would like Innocent to just in a minute talk about the role of the different stakeholders in management of menstruation.
Thank you so much. Before I add that, I still have a few good practices to add. One of which is to the young girls and also women and so on, whereby we are talking about as a lady, when you're about to see your periods, you always make sure your pubic hair is shaved off, because the pubic hair with blood that is stained, it's usually a source of infection. Looking at the different roles of the stakeholders we have, and also what they can be able to do. In simple terms, I really just want to say that menstrual hygiene is everyone's responsibility. So, and in this, everyone has a role to play. I have a role to play. A young boy somewhere has a role to play. The government has a role to play. The school administration has a role to play. And also the non-government organizations has a role to play. Which of these roles we are able to see now? Looking at the parents, one, it is a responsibility of the parents to provide, especially the children, the young girls, to make sure that they are availed with what is necessary to be used. Here we're looking at actually pads, so it's the responsibility of the parents to make sure they are given these things. Secondly, also we are looking at as the parents, it's your role, it's your responsibility to make sure we guide these children about DC menstruation. It's always very good to give them a prior information, especially before they start receiving their periods. And then also we are looking at, as for the school has also a role to play, most especially advocating for things that are to be used, like we had already talked about things like water and so on. And also, most of our schools in the communities and so on, they really don't have materials which are there in school. So what we're trying to say is that you make sure you have these materials ready in school, because not every girl can be able to afford this. So it's therefore necessary that we have to make these things really available for the children in school.
Thank you so much, Innocent, for talking about the roles of the different stakeholders in menstrual hygiene management. We have been talking about menstrual hygiene management. If you've just joined in the discussion, we talked about a lot of things, and we've just concluded with the roles of the different stakeholders. And remember, there's a day dedicated to the celebration of International Menstrual Hygiene Day. We have our viewers on YouTube who have left their comments. Thank you so much. We have Sharon Stone Ayotaro, who says, this is a neglected topic that is trying to come up. It should be noted that menstruation is not a sickness. It's normally in every girl child. And parents, boys, teachers, community, and so on should support. Thank you so much, Sharon Stone Ayotaro, for that input. Thank you a lot. And for everyone who have left their comments, that Success Planet Network, I see you. You say menstruation periods is something normal and healthy. Every girl needs your support, so be there to support every girl on this journey, and that's why tomorrow we are celebrating this. We have Aladdin Studios, who says, can a woman conceive when seeing her period? That is one of the most frequently asked questions, and before we leave the studio, we are going to answer that. So I would ask Innocent to quickly answer that question.
Thank you so much. The question says, can a woman conceive when she is seeing her periods? We usually say the answer is no. So it's not possible. These periods comes as a result of actually when the uterus was ready prepared to see a baby, which then if does not happen, you find usually what has been prepared comes as a blood. So we are saying that it's not possible. If a woman is seeing her periods, she cannot be able to conceive.
Thank you so much, Innocent, for answering that question. I see Ozele saying he's watching us live from Mogadishu. Thank you all for catching the show. Thank you, Success Planet, for being a part of this. And to everyone who has left a comment on YouTube or watching us on TV, thank you so much. I hope we have learned something. And tomorrow you can be a part of the people creating change, you know, breaking the barriers, the stigma, and all that by providing information on menstrual hygiene and all that tomorrow, and also teaching fellow girls on how to make menstrual pad. Thank you. Our time here is up. This has Before we go, I'd like to give a chance to our guests here a minute to say something to our viewers. Let's start with Doreen. What are your last words to our viewers?
Okay, thank you so much, our viewers. I just want us to understand that as a society that menstruation is something very normal. It's just like pee and poo that anybody can also do, and it's okay to be in school for the girls, even to be at work for the women. It's very okay to engage yourself in any activity during your menstruation. We therefore need to be very proud of menstruation. And then with this, I want to wish all the girls and women out there a happy Menstrual Hygiene Day tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those last words that have gone out to our viewers. Let's have Innocent put out his last words.
Thank you so much, our viewers, for having taken this time really to be with us. All I have to say is that menstruation is everybody's responsibility, and it is you and me. We can be able to see that we all end a stigma, especially in schools and so on, whereby we have to really make sure that our environment is comfortable for both the women and then also the girls. And then about Success Planet, for more information, you can come to Red Cross office, that is in Arua City. Come and learn more about making a pad, and then also come and learn more about making a bar soap, and also other different activities. So in your free time, take that time, go there, and then learn more about what you can be able to afford for yourself. Thanks.
Thank you so much for all that you have said. Remember, the theme for tomorrow's day is making menstruation a normal part of life by 2023. So do be a part of that. From our team of Westnile TV, we wish every girl out there happy Menstrual Hygiene Day, and do take care of yourself. This has been The Real Talk with me, Ayot Lillian, and our guests from Success Planet Network Uganda. And thank you so much, Aldo, our producer, and Elliot, our cameraman, for doing a great work. Kudos to all those who have watched. Catch us every Saturdays from 8 to 10 p.m. every Saturday on Westnile TV, and also our repeats go on Thursday. See you again. Have a lovely weekend.